Yo, so what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and for today's video, we're doing a career simulation of what could be this year's MVP in all honesty, Joel Embiid. Of course, as a Sixers fan, I am very much rooting that he is the one that gets it, and we're going to sim through the rest of his career and see how it actually plays out. And as you can see in year one here, no MVP for him, but he does make the All-NBA first team in that center position, which is definitely a pretty big accomplishment in itself. Looking at the standings, he helps propel the 76ers to the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, behind only the Celtics and Nets. And he has a fantastic stat line here of 28.7 points per game, almost 14 rebounds a game, and 2 blocks per game. Right behind him, he has Tobias Harris as his second option, and of course Ben as his third. While facilitating a lot, Ben having a very full stat line. In the first round here, we get out pretty easily. Second round, we get a harder matchup here in the Milwaukee Bucks, of course, who have Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're going to a Game 7 with this team that was the number 2 seed here, and it could honestly go either way. If we win, we go up against the Nets, which is going to be even more of a challenge, so let's see if we can make it out of the second round and push it to the Eastern Conference Finals here in year one. And yes, sir, it's looking good. We end up taking it. Giannis dropping 36 and 16, Joel dropping 38 and 13 to get the job done. Moving us to the Eastern Conference Finals for what feels like the first time in a long time. Philadelphia 76ers up against the number 1 seeded Brooklyn Nets, finding ourselves down in the series here 3-2, and in this big game that could push us to a Game 7, we start flooding them a little bit, giving out some gas. They ultimately come back a little bit at the end there, and we only beat them by 5 despite a 43-piece from Ben Simmons. But Game 7 here, anything can happen, boys. No doubt about that. Let's see how this ends up going. Will the Philadelphia 76ers clutch up and go to the NBA Finals here in year one? And it's looking good with a 3-point win over the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, some fantastic scores there. Ben dropping a 35-point triple-double and a 30 and 18 stat line there from Joel Embiid to push the 76ers back to the NBA championship for what feels like the first time in forever, in which the Philadelphia 76ers are not going to have an easy test as they're up against LeBron James, a lot of people's GOAT, and the Los Angeles Lakers. Although we find ourselves up 3-0 in this series here, we're going to hop into Simcast to see how it plays out. They do end up grabbing a game, so regardless, Bron is not getting swept here, despite 27 from Embiid in that L. We hop into this Game 5 here, and in Game 5, you can see we are going to be taking it right here. 114-101 Lakers with the ball. They drain a little midi there to make a little garbage time bucket, but we're going to end up winning this 114-103. Your Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid will be getting their first NBA championship of this sim. So a good start to Embiid's career with us here. And maybe it could happen in real life. You never know. This Philadelphia 76ers team is looking greatly improved on this season. So let's see who ends up getting Finals MVP for the team. I'm going to assume it was Joel, but let's check the stats and see if anything leads us to believe anything else. Joel dropping 34 and 17, and Ben with a nice little triple-double there as well. But, of course, Joel is going to get it here, 95 overall. 27-year-old grabbing his first Finals MVP and first championship of the sim. Moving us into year 2 of the sim, of course, several years into his actual career here. I believe this is now his 5th career year. So you can see he is starting to build up some accolades, and his number 2 guy right there, Ben Simmons, up to a 90 overall now, 25 years old. And this team is definitely moving. But they actually have a weird kind of lineup here, in all honesty, where Ben's going to be running the 3 besides Matisse Thybulle and Tyrese Maxey starting at the 1 and 2. But I guess we'll be here for it. Joel ends up getting an MVP season here in only year 2 of the sim, making up for kind of getting snubbed last year. Joel, obviously a fantastic stat line to do that. 29.5 points per game, 13.6 rebounds per game, and just absolutely going hard, especially on the defensive side as well with 2.1 blocks per game. Tobias putting up just about 24 a game, and Ben, of course, a very full stat line as our 3rd highest scorer. First round here, we're going up against a Charlotte Hornets team that added Rudy Gobert, which definitely makes them a little bit more versatile, but not how I was expecting our champions last year to go out. A huge hangover there, I guess, with the championship It happens. A lot of championship teams end up disappointing the next year, so let's hope we can bounce back in the following year. In the championship here, you got the Denver Nuggets up against the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics up 3-1 and ended up taking it 4-1 in 5 games. Jason Tatum getting himself a Finals MVP as well. Moving us into year 3, where hopefully we can have a little bit more playoff luck than last year, where we got swept in the first round by the number 8 seed, which you hate to see, to say the very least. And yet again, we're still running that kind of funky lineup with Ben at the 3. Luka Doncic grabs MVP on the season, and we come in as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference and number 2 in general, only behind the Dallas Mavericks. Embiid yet again having an incredible season, to say the very least, and Tyrese Maxey now up to our second highest scorer on the team. Second round here, we're in a Game 7 up against the Cleveland Cavaliers here. Hopefully we can knock them out and move to the Eastern Conference Finals and go back there yet again. And with Joel dropping 36 and 16, we do get it done. Nice little 28 piece there from Maxey as well. Eastern Conference Finals up against this Knicks team that has DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young, Obi Toppin. They're actually starting Bobby Portis at the 5 as well. Emmanuel quickly coming off the bench. Definitely an interesting team, to say the very least. I do think that we should beat this team, though, as we're coming in as the number 1 seed. And our roster is definitely a lot better. We end up taking it in 6, thankfully. Obi Toppin dropping 24 and 11 in that L. Maxey dropping 34. And look at Embiid, 25 and 21 rebounds. That is incredible. Going up against Luka Doncic, I guess the up-and-coming GOAT here in the finals. And it's not looking good for us here as we find ourselves down 3-0 to Luka and the Mavs. And at least maybe we can get a game for our ego. We do get one here. Joel dropping 41 and 13 in that dub. Kevin Huerter dropping a 20 bomb as well, getting us a game, now down 3-1 in the series here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting knocked out here and just get one game. So let's see. And last second, we end up fumbling the bag on that, 122-123. Luka grabs Finals MVP, of course, moving us into year 4 of the sim here. Joel still chilling at a 95 overall at our 5 position. Ben still chilling at a 90, Tobias 85, Matisse Thybulle 83, and Maxey at an 82, so not too shabby. Nikola Jokic gets regular season MVP here, averaging a triple-double at the big man position, which is pretty crazy in all honesty. Sixers come in as the number 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. Not what you're hoping for, of course, but not too bad. It does get us in the playoffs, and with that, you can win kind of from anywhere in all honesty. First round here, we're up against the Miami Heat. And what a team to upset you in the first round. Miami Heat end up taking it from us in 7 there. Scary Terry dropping 23 for them apparently. Tobias dropping almost a 40 bomb, but it was not enough. Championship here, the New Orleans Pelicans end up taking it with Zion getting Finals MVP, moving us into year 5 of the sim. And in year 5 here, Embiid still chilling at a 94 overall. Ben now at a 91, getting a little bit of progression there. And I think, actually, Tobias is still hanging in there as well. I was expecting a little regression, but hey, I'll take it. We come in as the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, 1 seed higher than last year, so I guess that's somewhat of a dub, 47 and 35. Looking at the player stats, Embiid still getting it done, coming down scoring-wise a little bit and rebounds a little bit, 21 and 9 on the season. Not too bad for the 31-year-old big. Of course, durability there will start getting into the question. We're in a Game 7 here in the first round up against the Orlando Magic, and I don't want to go out bad to them. We end up taking it by about 30 points there. Embiid dropping 36, 9, and 5. And good stat line there from Ben as well, getting us to the second round up against the number 1 seed, Washington Wizards. Let's see what this team has to go. We get up early on them 3-0, and we end up actually sweeping the number 1 seed, which is kind of crazy. Embiid and Ben doing their thing. Precious Achiuwa having a huge game as well, getting us back to the Eastern Conference Finals, where we're up against Jason Tatum, Karis LeVert, Dejounte Murray, and a pretty interesting Celtics team that has some pretty good players here, in all honesty. They have won an NBA championship in this sim already, as we saw, with Tatum getting Finals MVP. So this is going to be a big matchup here. Hopefully we can rout them. Coming in as the number 4 seed, they were number 2. We're down 2-1, but we get some games back. A nice little winning streak gets us up 3-2 in the series. This is a big game here, and we're going to end up smoking them 143-112, taking it. Embiid dropping a 37 bomb. Bol dropping 23 off our bench as well. Getting us back to the NBA Finals here, up against last year's champs in Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans. We do end up getting a game here, finding ourselves down 3-1. Maybe we can get a win here and start clawing our way back into this, but I wouldn't get our hopes up too much because we end up dropping it by 4 there. 120-116, Zion getting himself Finals MVP. Looking at the stat lines there, nothing we could do. Our guys went out there and balled. Just didn't have enough. Year 6, here we go. 92 overall now, Joel Embiid. You can see the starting lineup is starting to switch around a little bit more, adding some shooting at that 2-guard position in our young new 2-guard. And let's see how it ends up going. Hopefully it goes pretty well. And it did not go well as we missed the playoffs for about the first time in this sim, going 40 and 42. Joel's numbers actually going back up a little, 23 and 10 on the season, but it was not enough to get us a dub or get us a playoff spot loss. So Zion gets himself his 3rd Finals MVP of this sim, and it moves us into yet another year here. 88 overall, Joel now. Ben coming off the bench actually is our 6th man, and another unfortunate season there where we only pick up 36 wins. Joel putting up 18.6 a game and 7.2 rebounds per game. Big unfortunate. Watching the finals from the sidelines here, the Nuggets do go secure themselves an NBA championship here with Nikola Jokic getting himself Finals MVP, moving us into year 8, and now 85 overall Joel Embiid is leading the charge for our Sixers team, and hopefully we can actually make the playoffs here, so let's cross our fingers. We get 44 wins, which is enough to get us the 6th seed, which is not the worst thing ever. Tyrese Maxey actually leading the team in scoring. Joel's numbers definitely starting to hit that downward spiral like crazy, putting up about 14 and 6 a game, which is still okay, I guess, but for what Joel was, it's a huge regression. First round matchup here, we find ourselves up against the Chicago Bulls, who are not an easy matchup by any means, so let's hope that we could do something here. Tying it up at 2, they get up on us in the series 3-2. We fight back a game, tying it up, pushing it to a game 7 here, and in game 7 we actually end up taking it. Our young 2-guard goes off for 28 there, moving us to the 2nd round matchup here up against Jalen Green and the New York Knicks. And if you know anything about these sims, Jalen Green usually goes crazy, and he knocks us out in 5 there. They also had Zion apparently, so I guess I can't be too upset about that. Zion jumping ship and going to the Knicks as well. Moving us to year 9 here of the sim. You see Embiid chilling at an 82 overall now at 34 years old. Regression wall hitting him like crazy, and he is not even our starting center anymore. So he's coming off the bench as our 8th man, as Ben is the 6th man. So the kind of bench squad is actually a pretty good chemistry pair, I guess. And with that being said, we come in as the number 8 seed, which is not what you ever want to hope for, of course. Tyrese Maxey leading the team in scoring. Joel still putting up 13.6 a game off the bench, which is not too shabby in all honesty. And we actually win our first round in the playoffs, moving to the 2nd round here up against the Boston Celtics. And maybe we can make some type of run and get Joel another ring in his career here. It would be nice, but unfortunately we get bounced in 5. Kevin Porter Jr. apparently leading our team in scoring, which is definitely kind of weird because I didn't even know we had Kevin Porter Jr. Moving us to year 10 here, Tyrese Maxey kind of leading the charge overall-wise at an 85, and we somehow are a 50-win team, so I'll take it. 50 and 32 on the season. Tyrese Maxey leading the team, followed by Shaquille O'Neal, of course Shaq's son, Ben number 3, and Joel off the bench getting about 5 points a game. Moving us to the Eastern Conference Finals, which I'm surprised we even got back to. And we're kind of cooking in all honesty, finding ourselves up 3-0 and sweeping that team, that Celtics team 4-0. Going to the NBA championship here where we're up against Almani Bates and the Minnesota Timberwolves, finding ourselves up 3-0, and we hop into Simcast in this one, up by about 40 points here. So they're giving Joel some garbage time minutes in his finals game here. Gets him a bucket, a feel-good moment there, getting our guy Joel this NBA championship and giving him some burn here, where he's going to set the little screen and get to the line yet again, getting him some more buckets. Of course, as he didn't get to play all that much throughout the playoffs and even throughout the regular season here, now at about 35 years old, draining his free throws still, of course, because he's like that. So with that being said, we are going to take this series in 5 games here against the Minnesota Timberwolves, 132 to 88, unless they grab a nice little garbage time bucket. And there it is. That's all she wrote. 132 to 88. dribbling out the clock, and yes sir, Joel Embiid gets himself his second NBA championship as a Philadelphia 76er. Second one coming maybe a little bit later than we hoped, but nonetheless, still a ring on his finger and a trophy for the city of Philadelphia here. Interested to see which one of the guys actually ends up getting Finals MVP. Will Ben get it? Will Tyrese Maxey get it? Or will Shaq's son, Shaquille O'Neal, end up getting it, who dropped 33 in that game? Ben's still close to almost a triple-double even, getting up there in age now, still doing his thing. Joel gets those 2 minutes and makes the best out of it, getting 4 points and a rebound. Shaquille O'Neal grabs Finals MVP. Moving us into year 11 here, and in year 11 of the sim, is Joel still hanging around? What is going on? Joel Embiid is actually not on the Sixers anymore. Let's check that out real quick. Joel going to the Portland Trailblazers now at a 77 overall. Is this a team he will get any tick on? It's not looking that way. So maybe Joel is going to ring chase and try to get himself his third NBA championship before he gets out of the league. Going to a team that has a 94 overall big and an 88 overall point guard. So obviously they are tough like that. And their center actually ends up going and getting MVP of the regular season. So Joel must have saw something. They come in as the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. Joel not getting really any tick at all. You see his points per game is 0.7 on the season at 37 years old, 78 overall. Sim through the playoffs, and we actually make it to the finals here, where we're up against the Washington Wizards. And they have the kid from Australia, actually, Josh Giddey, as their 2 guard. And this is kind of interesting. Will we get a third ring for really doing nothing here? It would be nice. Finding ourselves down 3-1. The Trailblazers fight back, and why not hop into Simcast since it's a big game 7 here, boys. Will Joel get his third NBA championship of the sim? And yes, sir, he will. Joel goes to the Trailblazers, ring chases, gets himself his third NBA championship, retiring alongside his former teammate in Tobias. Well, he didn't actually retire this year. He decides to stay another year. But it's not really a real year for him because he's not going to be on any NBA team. As you can see, Joel at a 75 overall. It does not get picked up. He's actually, 74 overall. Actually does not get picked up by anybody the entire season. So it is what it is. Pacers versus the T-Wolves here in the finals. And we're going to end up seeing Joel retiring. Check out if his jersey gets retired by the Sixers and all of that good stuff real quick. If you made it this far throughout the video, as always, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and comment Bean Squad down below in the comment section below so I can show you some love. Looking through these player retirements here, very great draft class in all honesty. Hall of Fame inductees Jokic, AD, Joel, Cat, and Kyrie. Talk about some GOATs retiring all in the same season. That's pretty crazy to say the very least. And check out the jersey retirements and see if the city of Philly did retire the number 21. Yes, sir, they did. And Cat actually had his retired as well. Looking through all the player points as always. I'm just going to let this roll as we always do, boys. I appreciate all of you that watched this far throughout the video as always. Hopefully Joel ends up getting MVP this season from a Philadelphia 76ers fan, Philadelphia sports fan. That would be fantastic. But this is how 2K thinks his career will play out. Let me know down below how many championships you think he will get, if he will get any in general. And, of course, rock out with your boy Bean. I'll talk to you guys next video. Peace.